Hey guys, Smail here. So how can DeepSeek benefit businesses? That's what we'll be seeing in this video. And actually, we've seen a lot of news about DeepSeek. Here, for example, you have an article explaining what DeepSeek is about. Or here an article explaining that DeepSeek affected the stock market and more particularly Nvidia stock on the 27th of January. And here even an article saying that DeepSeek has been banned, from Australian government devices. But I have yet to see some content or video that talks about how can DeepSeek benefit businesses. And if you're a business owner watching this video, you should ask yourself, what can DeepSeek do for my business? So that's what we'll be talking about in this video. I prepared this Miro board that you can access through my community. So if you go to my Discord community and you go to the resources page, here I will be posting this link of the Miro board, and if you click on it, you will be accessing all the content that is inside of it. Okay, so going back to the board, if we think about how really can AI benefit businesses, I can see three main ways on how AI can, bring tangible value to businesses. And here, if we unzoom, we can see that businesses will really care about three things only. The first thing will be sales, because we want to maximize the revenue that we will make as a business. The second thing is margins. We want to maximize margins, meaning we want to minimize the cost of our operations, because if we make $1 million of revenue, what's the point if we only make $10,000 of profit? And here the last point is employee satisfaction, because if we have no more employees to run our company, we have no more company, right? So yeah. And now let's start with sales. Here there are many ways AI can help in terms of sales. So the first one is about missed calls. So as we know, if we miss a call, it's a missed potential deal that we lose, and it's also a potential deal that our competition might make. So it is very important that we don't miss calls anymore. And the only practical solution to not miss calls anymore as a business is done through voice AI agents. So you have seen tools like Retail AI, it's my personal favorite. You also have recently 11 Labs that launched conversational agents, and you also have tools like Vapi or Blend or Synthflow. There are many tools that can do that. But now in this video, let's see if DeepSeek should be used for those voice AI agents. And here actually I wrote that so DeepSeek is not advised during calls. Why is it not advised? Because it is slow actually. If you have paid attention to the news, you will see that DeepSeek, all the news say that DeepSeek, they are almost as accurate as the latest OpenAI model, but 10 times cheaper, right? But nobody talks about the speed, And here there is a website that makes a very, convenient comparison of all the models in terms of quality, speed, and price. And as a business owner, as a decision maker, you want to compare the models in terms of those metrics, quality, speed, and price, because you have sometimes to make some trade-offs. We'll gain quality and speed at the expense of price, or we'll gain quality and price at the expense of speed. But it is always important to pay attention to those three metrics. And here, if we focus on DeepSeek, so this model here, we can see that indeed, in terms of quality, it is almost as good as O1 and O3 Mini that has been released by OpenAI, I think it was yesterday. So 89 here. And in terms of price, we can see that it is very good, because if we compare it to O1, it is indeed, almost 10 times cheaper, which is very good. However, in terms of speed, which is measured by the number of tokens per second, it is extremely slow. So here we can see that it outputs around 19 tokens per second. And if we compare it to GPT-4o, this one outputs 115 tokens per second. So it's like 6 times faster. So for example, here, what does it mean? It means that during a conversation, if you use GPT-4o and on average the AI will take around 1 second to answer, here it means that if you use DeepSeek, it will take 6 seconds, which is very slow in terms of AI voice agents and conversational agents through voice. Here it is written that if you access DeepSeek through their API directly, it will be 58 tokens per second. It's better than 19, but it's still super slow. So now if we go back to our voice AI agent use case, what I say is that it should not be used during calls. However, it could be used for post-calls analysis, because let's say you try to build an AI voice bot that is capable of taking orders. Sometimes orders can be super complicated, you have multiple items, you have multiple prices per items, sometimes you have multiple flavors, and you can also have some rules. For example, this item cannot have more than 3 flavors. This other item cannot have more than 4 toppings, and so on, which makes it very complex, to reason. So that's why once a call has been terminated and we want to analyze the transcript of that call, then maybe, DeepSeek could make sense. We could use it to benefit from its advanced reasoning to analyze the transcript and then to collect the elements that has been ordered, for this AI voice bots for menu ordering. Now our next use case is speed to lead. It is also extremely important to maximize the sales of businesses because we want to talk to leads the moment they are super hot, the moment they opted in our Facebook or Instagram ad. This is the best moment to talk to the lead, because if you just wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then the lead is gone. He will be going through the rest of his day, and then he might have the same pain as he expressed on that moment, but he might buy from a competitor. So this is extremely critical if you want to maximize your conversion rates. So let's see here. We have multiple options. We have either voice agents, SMS agents, email agents, or WhatsApp agents. And you can consider this one as just a voice agent and all the others as text agents. And as you have guessed it, for the voice agents, this will just follow the same logic as we just said. No DeepSeek during the calls because it is slow. However, for calls, for analyzing the transcript, we can consider DeepSeek. Now, for SMS agents, should DeepSeek be considered? Here I wrote that DeepSeek is not needed. Why? Because we already have ChatGPT models that are powerful enough in terms of reasoning to just handle normal conversations that will take place during the speed to lead workflow. Because usually when we used AI to do this kind of workflows, it's to qualify the lead, and when we want to qualify a lead, we'll just be asking some simple questions. And this does not require some advanced reasoning, So in my opinion, DeepSeek is not needed in this case. And if we move on to email agents, it's the same logic that I applied, As long as it is text-based, DeepSeek is not needed, really. Now, the third way to maximize the sales as a business by using AI is through lead reactivation. So I'm pretty sure as a business owner, if you are using a CRM and you have been in business since at least 2 years ago, you must have a list of leads, that you consider as dead. So an AI could go through this list of leads and try to re-engage with them, so that we can have a conversation, maybe warm them up and book them into a meeting. And for this, I just wrote text agents because it doesn't make sense to call old leads, out of the blue. You will just, send them SMS or an email. So that's why I applied the same logic here, and I say that DeepSeek is not needed really in this case. The next way to increase our sales as a business is through follow-ups. I was reading some stats the other day, and it was very interesting because it said that basically on average, businesses do around 1 to 2 follow-ups, and then if the lead doesn't answer, they consider the lead as dead. However, it also said that you need at least 6 or 7 touch points with a lead for the close. So it is extremely important to do follow-ups if you want to close those leads. And here again, we can do that either through voice agents or through text agents. And the same logic applies. no DeepSeek during calls, but DeepSeek can be done after the calls. And here for the text agents, I said that DeepSeek should be considered actually. Why? It's because sometimes, during the leads journey, in the sales cycle, it might be complex, and we might need an AI that has advanced reasoning to make sure that it will answer the best way it can, because it might be pulling information from emails, from the CRM, from SMS, from WhatsApp, and then all those information might be complex, and we want to make sure that the AI understands where the lead is on its journey for the close, and to make sure that we answer in the best possible way. Now, the last way as a business owner to increase the sales is through referral automation, because I'm pretty sure that as a business owner, you already have delivered, work to clients and they were super happy, and then you just moved on and you forgot about it, and then you try to look for new leads. However, those happy clients can bring you new clients. So what if you set up an AI system that will try to contact all the past successful case studies that you had with your past clients, and then try to propose to them a referral. If they bring new clients, they will have a $500 discount on their next purchase, or you can offer them gift cards and so on. So this can actually be super powerful to increase your sales. And here again, as you might have guessed it, we have either voice agents or text agents. And for the text agents, DeepSeek is not needed, because we don't need some advanced reasoning. We just need to introduce ourselves, remember the positive, experience that the client had, and then, offer them some special deal if they refer to us a new client. Now, the second thing that businesses care the most about is margins. So how can we do to reduce the cost as much as possible in our business? So for me, there are two ways. The first one is a type of system called Retrieval Augmented Generation System, or RAG systems. So what is a RAG? Actually, there is a nice article on Google Cloud that explains it very clearly. So here it says that basically we are trying to use your data with the power of an LLM to generate more accurate, up-to-date, and relevant data, so text, to your specific needs. So if you have specific needs and you have your own proprietary data, you want to leverage the reasoning, engine and capability of an LLM to answer questions rapidly and, accurately. So why do I say that RAG systems improve the margins? So let's say you run a website and you need to pay 5 full-time employees for customer support. So every time someone will email you for an issue, you will have an employee that will spend time, retrieving information from your internal knowledge base and then answer that customer the best way possible. What if instead of 10 people, you would have this kind of system that will answer all the repetitive questions, that are super easy to answer, and then keep 2 people only for the most, unique questions and, kind of difficult situation that needs a human to intervene. So for this type of system, I said that DeepSeek should be considered, because we need an AI to do some advanced reasoning, for this type of engines. Because let's say you are storing data in a database, and that database is like a PostgreSQL or MySQL database, and you want to build an engine that will transform natural language. So for example, what was my ROI last month on this particular product? You just want to ask questions like this, and on the back end, this engine will try to transform this sentence into a query, into an SQL query. So you want to have some advanced knowledge about query language and how they should be structured, so that the query not only have a good syntax, to be able to run properly, but also be accurate, because we don't want to confidently output answers we want the answers to be facts and to be the reality of what is happening in the database, right? So here I prepared some examples about businesses that already built RAG systems for their operations. So here, for example, a trading firm wants to analyze thousands of financial statements like income statement, balance sheet, and so on to make informed decisions. So which stock to buy, which bond to sell, when to do it, and so on. Here I found a business that actually does that. So they are called Sentio. If you go to their website, you can see that here they gather a lot of data sources. So SEC filings, transcripts, market data, broker research, and so on. And then they gather all this data and then they feed it to a RAG system. And this RAG system will dissect the data so that at the end of the day, the decision makers will be able to make informed decisions. And actually this company was so successful that they have been acquired, in 2022. So I think it's a very compelling use case. Another example would be an insurance company that needs to analyze claims to answer questions in accurate and timely manner. And I found an insurance company that does that. They are called Allstate. So if we go to this link, you will see that Allstate has implemented an AI-powered virtual assistant to provide support to policyholders. And you can see that this system can even initiate straightforward claims. So apparently it is not ready yet to handle complex cases of claims, but for the ones that are quite simple, quite straightforward to process, it can already do that. So it's already an added value. A third example is a manufacturing company that needs to retrieve specific information from user manuals without wasting time. And I found, so this company actually, they provide data science and AI consulting. So they're not a manufacturing company, but one of their models is doing exactly that. So you can see in this article that Mosaic built an AI-enabled search assistant using deep learning and language model to intelligently parse complex mechanical operation manuals and return the desired search results. So if you want to know more about the details, if you have an engineering background and you want to read more to this, I think this is a very interesting article on how they did it basically. Now the second type of AI system to reduce cost is simply those type of automations that help in file processing and data entry automation. And for this case, I think DeepSeek should also be considered because sometimes we have some type of data that is hard to understand and we need some advanced reasoning to do that. So let's say, for example, you have a PDF that has hundreds of financial statements, income statements, balance sheets, and so on, and you want first to parse that data, so to extract the data from the PDFs, but you also want a model to understand the columns, the rows, and to also be able to make computations, to be able to output graphs or in-depth analysis. So I think DeepSeek could be very useful for this type of use cases. Here I also prepared some 3 examples of such systems. The first one will be an HR automation system that analyzes resumes and updates application tracking systems. I think I will soon do a video about that because right now it's becoming super easy for applicants, using AI to apply to a job position because the AI can analyze, the job requirements, prepare a resume that is fine-tuned for that requirement, and then send it through the website or through LinkedIn. So the companies need to answer this massive, capabilities from applicants. And there is a company that does that. They are called CPOL. And if you go to their website, here it says AI-powered, people-driven. So it is basically an AI system that helps staffing, recruiting, and talent professionals do their jobs better. So in the past, if an HR assistant will be able to handle 10 resumes per day, maybe with this AI system today, she will be able to handle hundreds of resumes per day, which is very good. Now the second type of system is like a system for accounting firms to process invoices and to extract data from those invoices and writes it into their CRM. And there is an AI actually that does that. They are called Basis. So I pulled this Reuters article that says that this startup Basis, they recently raised $34 million for accounting automation agents. So this startup specializes into this. I think it's very cool. Now the third example would be a legal firm that wants to extract key information from contracts. So this is very important because it allows them to save time. And I saw that one of very famous law firm, I think they are UK law firm called Allen and Overy. They used an AI system to do that. So here actually they used a startup called Harvey. Harvey is a very famous US startup that developed a suite of AI tools to do many useful things related to contracts and legal documents. So if you're a lawyer or an attorney watching this video, you should check them out. I think they are very, very interesting. So, after looking at those solutions, maybe we can say, hey, there are already solutions to those problems. So why are we talking about DeepSeek, right? And sometimes, many times for businesses, you have unique processes and unique ways of solving your problems. So maybe the solution to your particular problem doesn't exist yet, and DeepSeek could be a way to solve this problem, right? Now, the third most important thing that businesses care about is employee satisfaction. And let's see how DeepSeek can do that. So the first type of system that can do that is RAG systems, and we'll see why. The second one is also file processing systems, and the third one can be custom AI systems, that is neither a RAG or a file processing system. And for the RAG system, as I said, DeepSeek should be considered because it is open source, it is capable of advanced reasoning, so definitely DeepSeek should be considered for this kind of systems. The first system is an HR and employee assistant. And an example of this is borderless AI. If I click on this link here, I will end up on this article where it says borderless AI speeds up the process of onboarding, managing, and paying international team members. So they basically help the onboarding of employees that are hired worldwide. So it is very cool because employee onboarding is a very painful problem for many businesses. And if we have an AI system that can do that easily, then everybody is happy, right? And then concerning AI help desk and internal knowledge base, I think it's a pretty straightforward use case because as an employee, you want to access the policies of your company as well as some processes. Let's say my computer turned off unexpectedly, how should I react, or who should I contact, and so on. So you want to interface, to interact with the system, to ask its question, and then this system should be answering you in an accurate and timely way. So Intercom did that. So if you click on this article, you will see that actually they built an AI not for employee but for customer support. So I'm pretty sure they have a lot of repetitive questions, and by building a RAG system that will be able to pull data from internal knowledge base and to answer customers on the spot, then the customers are happy. So it's a very useful kind of AI system. Another example that is actually dear to my heart is the following one. Imagine a dev team that needs to query code documentation. So a few years ago, I started an internship for a machine learning research position. And at first it was very painful because I had to go through a lot of code base. So I had to read code, understand the logic behind it, and I needed to do that very quickly because we don't want to waste time of the company, We need to understand things quickly so that we can bring some value as soon as possible. And if you have an AI that is able to, parse big chunks of code, to analyze the code base and then to answer, simple questions about that code base, it will be helpful to a lot of engineers, software engineers, machine learning engineers, many other employees. If you're a data practitioner, you know about scikit-learn. They released a bunch of libraries for using machine learning algorithms on data. And here you can see that on October 2024 they published this blog post where they explain their RAG system to query the scikit-learn documentation. I think this is a very interesting blog post. So if you are an engineer or you have a technical background, just go through this blog post. I think you will like it. Now, to increase the employee satisfaction, we could also build some file processing systems. And as you've seen previously, DeepSeek should also be considered. And then let's see some examples. So let's say as a business owner, you manage a team of salespeople. You have, for example, a team of 20 salespeople, and every single day they have calls. So you need to be able to set up something to analyze those sales calls so that you will give some useful feedback to the salespeople. Let's say you have junior people that are still learning and they want to be able to have some feedback so that they can progress and they can close more deals for you. What if you set up an AI system that is capable of going through those audio files and analyze it, transcribe those audio files, and then give some useful feedback about what went wrong, how could you have answered, when the prospect said this, what would have been, a better answer, and so on and so forth. Apparently there is a startup that does that. They are called grain.com, so feel free to check them out. The next system is compliance verification. So let's say you are a business owner and you own an HR agency and you want to be able to advise your clients on compliance for different countries about HR laws and so on. So I think those kind of systems could be useful because you will be sifting through a lot of legal documents specific to countries so that you can analyze the latest procedures and policies to know that you are always compliant within the laws. And the company that does that is called compliance.ai. The third system for file processing is a report generation system. Let's say you have a ton of documents. Those could be PDFs, Excel documents, Google Word documents, audio files, videos, raw text, and so on. And then you want to gather all this data and then produce reports based on this data, but in a structured way. So I found here that there is a solution called DocuBot. So at this point, this is just a research paper that I found. This research paper is actually dedicated to generating financial reports, and actually it was made by engineers from JP Morgan AI Research. It seems very interesting, so you will just look at this document and you will see more about how they did it. The sad part is that since this is a private company, they didn't release this model as an open source model. So you cannot play with it, sadly, but at least maybe you could try to replicate their method to create your own model. And finally, as the last type of system for employee satisfaction, we have general custom AI systems. And of course, as you might have guessed it, DeepSeek should be considered. The first one could be a recommendation engine for an upskilling coach. So let's say you have employees and you want to advise them some courses or some content so that they can upskill into their career. I think this could be very, very beneficial for the employees. And you have a company called GP Strategies that do that. So you can click on this and take a look at the details on how they did it. We could also think about a system for burnout prevention with the conversational agent. And I didn't provide an example here, but I guess all those type of other systems here, since they support the employees, they will, directly or indirectly, prevent burnout of employees. Now we've seen all those cases for increasing sales, margins, and boosting employee satisfaction. And this relates to SMBs, so all the small and medium businesses, which are 95% of all businesses in the US. But let's say you are a business owner watching this video and you have more than 80 employees. In this case, you want, some more advanced use of AI. So here I prepared some 2 use cases where, we can see how DeepSeek can be used. By using DeepSeek, since it is open source, you have the opportunity to do some advanced AI research and development. So the first way would be through fine-tuning this model for specific use cases. So when we say fine-tuning a model, it means that we take this model, since it is open source, we have access to its architecture, to the weights of the model, and then we feed it with new examples of data. When I say new examples, it means examples of input and corresponding output, so that we'll be updating those weights inside the model so that it will fit the data that we feed it with. So for this case, we could imagine your own local DeepSeek for many things, and we can imagine it for all your departments. Here we can imagine that as a company you have processes, and let's say you want to build an AI model that knows all your processes in details, so that whenever an employee comes in and you want to onboard this employee just have to ask the model, so that it will be able to answer it with the specific process that he needs, basically. We can also imagine your own DeepSeek fine-tuned for your accounting department. So in practice, we will feed it with all your income statements, balance sheets, everything financial and so on. And then we can, train DeepSeek so that it can generate analytics about your accounting, maybe do some projections so that the business executives can have some reports. So this could be, I think, very useful. And then we can replicate the same thing for all the other departments. It can be done for the HR department, for your operations, for the dev department, for the sales one, to analyze sales calls as we've seen, for the management department, or for your marketing and communication department. Let's say you feed it with all your ads, copies, and your ad images and so on. And then let's say you also want to borrow some ideas from competitors or known brands. Let's say you want to create a new campaign that mixes some ideas from Nike and Starbucks with your past way of communicating, and then you want DeepSeek to create a new campaign based on those ideas. This could be actually very interesting to implement. Then the second way to leverage DeepSeek is doing pure research. So here I prepared 4 types of research. The first one will be about just using the architecture of DeepSeek, but then doing some modifications on this architecture. Maybe changing some layers, maybe doing some pruning or quantization operation. I won't go into the details of this, but if you want me to do that, just comment down below. I would be happy to do that, because I have done plenty of this during my Master of Science in AI. The other thing is to borrow ideas from the architecture. So if you've read the papers of DeepSeek or you've seen some news about how they did this model, basically they use some techniques called distillation or reinforcement learning. I won't go into those details as well, but those are interesting ideas that can be applied to some other type of AI research. We could also adapt DeepSeek to another modality to apply it for audio or images. Actually, in my internship, the research internship that I did, we used to use the transformer architecture and apply it to audio data. And the same approach could be used. Here we could use, for example, DeepSeek to generate sounds, or songs. This could, the sky is the limit, this could be applied to so many use cases. Another interesting application of pure AI research using DeepSeek is to adapt this model to a constrained environment. So what we mean by a constrained environment, let's say it's embedded systems. It could be in cars, phones, and robots. because those type of environments, they don't use a lot of RAM. So we want to be able to keep the reasoning ability of DeepSeek, but we want to reduce the size of the file as much as possible. And this is a very good use case for pure AI research. So guys, that was it for this video. I hope this was informative. If you want to book a call with me, to investigate some of those systems that I talk about, I will be more than happy to help you. You will just book a meeting with me through the Calendly link in the description. Cheers guys.